Hey guys, welcome back. I missed you already. Welcome back to Motivation Wednesday number 2. For this week's topic, I want to talk about accountability. Guys, I'm curious to know, what do you think of? And I want you to comment below, what do you think of when you think of accountability? What comes to your mind? I think accountability is a very broad word, and there's so many definitions. It's used in so many different various ways. So I was thinking, and I had to really truncate it down to 2 subjects. 1, self-accountability. 2, accountability to others. I want to talk about how important those 2 subjects are and also how interconnected they are. Lastly, I want to talk about a really universal, a bad accountability habit that majority of us do without even realizing it or even consciously knowing that we're doing it. So with that spectacular intro out of the way, let's get into this week's video. Self-accountability is this. It's that trigger, that alarm, that system that goes off when you know, hey, you can't be binge watching Netflix today because you know you have that paper due. You know you have that turn in that project. Hey, you know you gotta go in that workout. Hey, you know you gotta eat the right foods. Hey, you made a promise to somebody and you know you have to be accountable for that. That is self-accountability. We have to understand, without self-accountability, we won't be able to have any feeling of remorse or any trigger mechanism that helps us to do what we said we're going to do or have the ability to meet deadlines. And it could be as simple as just being on time. That's self-accountability. One example that I want to use is an example that I use with my clients. So I do coaching for fat loss, life coaching, and health improvement overall. And even before they become my clients, I tell them, hey, no program will work if you don't put in the work, if you're not accountable to your actions. Whether it's high carb, low carb, keto, carnivore, vegetarian, it doesn't matter. Any of those programs can work and has shown to work, but if you don't put in the work, if you are not accountable from the coaching, then it's not gonna work. If you don't put in the work, it's not gonna work. If you don't eat the right things, it's not gonna work. If you're not counting, tracking, if you're not doing all these little small things, they're not gonna work. I, as a coach, is to help you, guide you along the path and to help you make minimal mistakes as possible, get you the results, and more importantly, help you to learn and become self-efficient. And that's very important to know because that's just one example. There's so many self-accountability examples out there, like watching Netflix all day. Should you be doing that? You got your paycheck on a Friday, going out and spending. Should you do that? I don't know, but you know, this might be an extreme example, but one worthy mentioning. Okay, you went out, had a couple of drinks. Should you drive home or call an Uber? Huge self-accountability questions, and something that you really should know deep down. And you already know the answer to that one. And that is why self-accountability is so important. If we don't have it, we're not gonna do it. And it is so important for us to strengthen our accountability, for really let that voice, that accountability voice, to be loud and proud in our minds. So the next time when we have that moment of temptation in terms of, oh, should I watch another YouTube video? What should I do? And you gotta hear your self-accountability speak to you. Okay, accountability to others. My simple definition is this: perception from your words and your actions to others. But I think there's a huge difference between living perception through others and living your life from other people's judgment. Here's a good question to sum it up. Do you want others' perception of you to be accountable, trustworthy, and kind? Or do you want it to be unreliable and rude? I think it's a simple answer. Here's a quick example. To paint a picture, let's say we're in a work setting. Let's say we have Hannah and Karen, and the supervisor asks, hey, I'm sorry for late notice, but could you arrive earlier at 7:30 and set up X, Y, and Z and have everything ready to go, presentation ready for this big event for our company? Could you please get that done? Hannah, she gets there at 7:15, and even before then, she has the presentation ready to go. She has X, Y, Z ready to rock. She is all prepared. She is set up. She gets to the event. Boom, boom, boom. She's all done. She's ready to go. Meets the supervisor, her boss, and says, hey, everything is done. Here's the agenda. Is there anything that you else that I can do to be of more value and to help the event be better run and make sure there's no mistakes, no hiccups. And I even tested the audio sound, the AV, all these things. The technology is ready to go. All you have to do is plug in and present. Karen, she gets there at 7:45. She gets maybe X, Y done, not the Z. She meets the supervisor and lets her know, hey, I didn't get this done. I hope this is okay. I really didn't know what to do. And I didn't have time to finish the PowerPoint up, so I'm doing it right now. So can you give me 30 minutes? Now let's say you're the supervisor. Who do you want to assist in event planning and execution in the next event? I think the answer is pretty simple. The important thing is not to zone in on that one event. The thing we want to focus on is not just the small event that occurred, but the continuous things that happen on a consistent basis. Say Hannah is always early on time, meets deadlines, does all the things she's asked of, and does more. Now, Karen, she doesn't arrive on time a lot, she's inconsistent in her work, and she doesn't meet the deadlines often. Now, Hannah's and Karen's words and actions has the power to set up any type of perception to others. And let me ask you this, what kind of perception do you think Hannah set for herself, and what kind of perception Karen set for herself? And this is very important because maybe the boss's boss is asking the supervisor, hey, there's a supervisor role that opened up, do you have any recommendations? Someone who's trustworthy, who gets things done, who's very clear, concise, and very professional. Do you know anyone like that? Who do you think she's gonna recommend? Whose perception is better by actions and words? And who's actually worthy of the chance? My guess is the supervisor will recommend Hannah over Karen. And that's not because she dislikes Karen on a personal level. It's because her perception of Karen is unreliable, untrustworthy to get the work done. And since her boss, for her recommendation, she trusts Hannah to be able to step up into that supervisor role and lead and execute on all the things that she has been doing before. She set a tone and she managed to stay up here. And that's a very powerful thing because this happens all the time. And this is not just in the workplace, this could be on the field, in the basketball court or in the track field. If a coach sees you constantly grinding, constantly finishing through the line during sprints, he knows that, hey, this guy, he puts it all every time, especially in practice. And if he does that in practice, imagine what kind of effort that he'll produce on the field compared to someone who always eases up 10, 15 yards out. What type of player, as a coach, do you want on the field? I want to talk about how closely interconnected self-accountability is with accountability to others. See, it goes like this. Self-accountability is your words, your action. Your words and your actions, they determine accountability to others, hence perception to others, what they see on a consistent basis from you. Do they trust you, do they not? And then that goes up, and that's determined by you, your accountability to yourself, your words and actions. Again, accountability to others goes back. And that cycle can be used in any situation. Like again, workplace, your sports, in the classroom, anything. It could be used in any field. That is why self-accountability and accountability to others is so darn important. And last but not least, something that you guys have been waiting for. The one universal bad accountability habit that you don't know about. And that habit is when we see other people or hear other people not follow through, not do what they said they're going to do, or break a promise, or just make a mistake at their work, we feel like it's okay for us to point out, criticize, judge as them. But when we don't follow through on our promises, don't do the things that we said we're gonna do, why do we not have the same energy to call ourselves out, but we have all the energy and all the right to call someone else out? It's very interesting because we always give ourselves passes for the things that we said we're gonna do, but we don't follow through. For example, you promised yourself, you said you're gonna wake up 5:30 in the morning on Monday to go for a nice walk, and you didn't do it. Why do you give yourself a pass for that? Why? But when someone else does it, you have all the energy, all the right to get at them. And when you do those things, you allow yourself to give yourself passes. And you say, hey, it's okay, I'll do it Tuesday. Hey, you know what? I missed this week, I'll start it back on Monday. No. Why is that okay? But when we go to a restaurant and someone gets our order wrong, we are so quick to let them know about the mistake that they made and probably judge, criticize, maybe not to the person, but consciously we do it. I think we need to come to the realization that, hey, enough with the pointing finger at everyone else except for you. You need to point the finger at yourself. Ask yourself, why am I not following through? And how can I do it? You gotta ask good questions like that. And ultimately, look at yourself in the mirror. Why do you not call yourself out when you don't follow through? And my thing is, isn't your life, isn't your self-accountability more important than what other people's mistakes? I mean, your lack of accountability affects your life, and that's very important, I would assume. So guys, I want to end you with this. I know accountability is a big word. I hope that I was able to simplify it into self-accountability and accountability to others in a way that is simple, easy, and concise. And I hope by bringing the light onto the bad accountability habit, I hope you realize, hey, I actually did that a week ago, yesterday. Now that you know this, I hope the next time you're about to call someone out or criticize or critique someone's performance or someone not following through, you save that energy, all the words that you're gonna say, and next time you don't follow through on what you said you're going to do, I want you to use that saved energy, those words, on yourself. Then maybe next time you think about not following through on your own words, and especially your own words to others, you use that energy to say, hey, no, you gotta be accountable to yourself. All right, my beautiful people, I hope this video was valuable to you. I hope this accountability video will help you power through for the rest of the week and to the end of the weekend. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will see you next Wednesday.